The Vallarta Botanical Gardens, just south of Puerto Vallarta, has something for everyone, especially if you're nature lovers. When I say something for everyone, I'm talking flowers, birds, butterflies, ponds, hiking, a church, and a restaurant with a gift store. The cost is only 300 pesos for adults and 150 pesos for children. It's also very easy to get there by bus from downtown. Cost for the bus is 50 pesos, which you pick up at Aguacate and Basilio. You take the El Tuito bus, which leaves about every 30 minutes. You can also take a taxi or Uber there for a cost of between 4 and 650 pesos. The gardens are absolutely wonderful. They're well maintained by a large group of volunteers, and they have many different types of indigenous plants and flowers. There are several ponds, and one is stocked with some large koi, which are great to see cruising around. I will say the restaurant is absolutely fantastic. We've always loved our meals there. But one of the highlights for me is actually taking the trail. It's called the Jaguar Trail. It's less than 1 kilometer long. It runs around the river, but also through the jungle. It's very easy to navigate and really a pleasure to hike along. Don't forget to take your bathing suit, as the winter months are a great time to take a dip in the stream. Birds are everywhere, and a pro tip, get there between 12 and 1 and find out when they're feeding them, because they all fly in and it's just a flurry of color and activity. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. For the rest of this video, I'll show you a few more pictures of the flowers, birds, and trail, and then I'll go into a detailed description of how you get to the bus and from there to the botanical gardens, plus the walks through the gardens, the fish ponds, the restaurants, etc. As you can see, the flowers, especially the orchids, are absolutely gorgeous, but I do like walking along the different paths and the Jaguar Trail, especially along the waterfront. I didn't go swimming this time, but we normally do. It is quite enjoyable and relaxing, and just a nice break before we sit down for lunch. If you like churches, the church here is really sort of funky. They've got it all painted up with a bird theme. It's really interesting to see, and a nice quiet place to just sit out and relax. And speaking about birds, they're all over the place, and when they feed them, they just flock in. It's really a sight to behold. So the easiest way to get to the botanical gardens is to take a bus. It's only 50 pesos each way. It leaves every half an hour, generally on the hour or half hour. And you catch it at the corner of Basilio and Aguacate. Sometimes it may move onto Aguacate or be on Basilio, but you'll always see a line up there, or you can talk to the locals, and if a bus is parked, that's generally the one you're going to be taking, and it's called the El Tuito bus. If you don't want to wait around for a bus, you can always go there by Uber and taxi. To come back, though, I believe they only have a taxi stand there, but the taxis are normally waiting for you. And the cost back to Centro from the gardens is, I believe, right now posted at 650 pesos. When we went here on the way there, it cost us 400 pesos for an Uber. I will say I would highly recommend taking the bus. It's only about a 45-minute ride. It's nice, it's interesting. You get to mix with the locals, and you get to check out the scenery. Going through this windy road up through the mountains, because the Botanical Gardens is located quite high in the Sierra Madre Mountains here, is also very interesting. As you can see, they've hollowed out the road through this cliff, because you're running right along the side of the mountains, and on the right-hand side you are actually right next to the ravine where the stream runs, which is associated with the Botanical Gardens. So a taxi or Uber driver will drop you right off in front of the entrance, where you need to pay your fees to enter the park. But if you are coming in by a bus, they drop you off at the beginning of the road, but it's only a very short walk, maybe 2 minutes to walk down to the entrance. At the entrance, you pay your entry fee. It's 300 pesos for adult and about 100 pesos for a child. They also sell things like bug spray, and I highly recommend you bring some bug spray. I didn't see a lot of mosquitoes here, but they have what they call no-see-ums, which is a type of sand flea, and if they bite you, they can leave some marks, and they're a little bit itchy, so we always spray ourselves when we go through the park here. Having said that, we were not bitten or surrounded by any of these bugs during this visit, and this is in late February. So as you enter the park or the Botanical Gardens, there are different booths on either side of the road. The first one on the left houses quite a few orchids, and it's a pleasure to walk through. On the right-hand side, it's more natural paths. You can make it down to the stream, and they have just some outside gardens. The foliage or the plants in bloom change from month to month, but I will say there is always something in bloom in the gardens here. So there really is no right or wrong time to go here. One of the things I really enjoy about the garden is it's very well maintained, lots of different colors, lots of different plants. So not only things that bloom, but a lot of different types of leaves and textures and so forth. Just a fascinating and beautiful place to walk through. There's also a lot of paths that wind through the gardens and the grassy sections of the area, so it's up to you on how you want to see the gardens. You can go and sit in different locations. They have benches all over the place and almost be by yourself. So it's up to you how you want to do this, but I will say that if you're planning to come here, I would expect that you want to be here a minimum of 4 hours, and 6 hours or even 8 hours would be perfect timing if you have the patience to stay that long. There really is a lot to do, a lot to see, and like I said, take your time and just enjoy it. Just a perfect outing away from Puerto Vallarta and the hustle and bustle of the city, and a nice change of pace. The gardens are a great place for children. As you can see here, these kids are stalking some guinea fowl that they have in the gardens. They're always here. They were obviously having a great time sneaking up on them, and guinea fowl, although running away, didn't seem to be overly stressed by the kids following them around. And besides guinea fowl, they've got peacocks on site, they've got the fish in the pond, so there's lots of things to fascinate the kids. I will say one of the best things to do is to over lunch when they feed the wild birds with fresh fruit with a lot of seeds in it. They fly in and the kids really enjoy that. The other thing I would suggest is to take the kids on a hike. It's only 1 kilometer or even less than 1 kilometer to do the Jaguar Trail. It's really well laid out. It's decently wide. It's very safe. There's not lots of real ups and downs. I would start at the one pavilion and go to the back way where you end up at the end at the river. And if they brought their bathing suits, a nice place for them to jump in and cool off. So the video is now showing how they lay out the food. So they put a whole bunch of fresh fruit in a hanging basket, and then the birds just fly in. You see very often these colorful blue birds, but probably the most common ones are these black and yellow ones, but they've got these green birds here. I've also seen chakalakas at the base, and when they cry out, that's really something. Once you hear it once, you'll never forget what a chakalaka sounds like, because it is quite unique and quite loud. So these birds, or the feeders, hung out right next to the restaurant. The restaurant has 2 floors. The first floor is where they do the cooking and where the gift shop is. And just below that first floor, which overhangs the ravine, they suspend the bird feeder, and that's the best place to see them. But even from the restaurant itself, you can actually see the bird feeder and watch the birds feed. So this is part of the gift store. They offer a lot of indigenous pottery and other touristy type items, which you can purchase, but it also has the cooking area. So you can see a large pizza oven here and a lot of the fresh fruit. Some of the fruit they grow on site, but obviously some of the stuff is actually brought in. At the front of the restaurant, you can just proceed past it, and to your right here is where the restrooms are and other pavilions. Plus, this is where you can join up to hit the Jaguar Trail. It actually starts at this particular spot. So in addition to flowers, you always have these little gargoyles or other ornaments or statues around. So we like looking at those. I love the plants, but they also often put the plants in interesting pottery, and many are suspended in these pavilions, which makes everything just that much more interesting. If you're an orchid lover, then this Botanical Gardens is a place you definitely want to go. They've got all different types and all different colors.
Look at the fruit is red and mauve. That's really pretty.
There are several ponds in the garden. There's a large one right outside the restaurant, which houses koi, and then they have this smaller one, which has a small waterfalls in it. There are some fish in it, just minnows, and again, a real relaxing place to come out and check out. You can see here how wide or how big the gardens are and how open. Lots of places just to wander around. You don't need to follow the paths. You can just wander across all the lawns and go from pavilion to pavilion and check out both the inside and outside gardens. One of the things I like about this place is that they grow their own plants as well. They're taking seeds or even snips off some of their existing plants, and to the right is where they actually start to raise those for planting in the garden at a later time. So this botanical garden seems to be growing every year, so there's a nice new section being cleared out now. So every time I come here, I find new areas to explore, and I'm sure they're using their growing station here to get ready to populate that particular area. So one of the most picturesque parts of the Botanical Gardens is this bridge. It's overhanging a small ravine, and in the small ravine, they actually have some tortoises. They keep them fenced in so they don't wander away, but I think we counted 6 or 7 of them here. They seem to be doing good. They seem to be nice and healthy, and they were coming over and eating a whole bunch of, looks like lettuce leaves. So this is the pathway that takes you up to the small church located on site. Love the mosaic tiles. It's a circular pattern that they've installed between the different stairs. Very different, very interesting, and it must have taken a heck of a long time to put together. The church is small, but it is very ornate, very interesting. They've really maintained it. It seems like they paint it every couple of years with different themes. And this theme, or the theme this year, seems to be birds. If you look on the inside, it's just a bright purple or vibrant purple and yellow, I should say. And the birds are just painted all over the walls. So just outside the church, we ran into a number of different peacocks, or peafowl, I should say. Again, the birds seem to be quite used to humans, so they don't run away. So another pleasant thing when you're wandering around the gardens, to keep an eye out for the different animals that you can run into, such as the tortoises and the tortoises, I should say, and these peafowl. Well, it was about 12:30, so we headed up to the restaurant, which is on the second floor, and decided to have lunch. The lunch menu, you can get things like a clubhouse sandwich, but their specialty is obviously Mexican food. I decided to have enchiladas, but others chose just some guacamole, some soup, and they also have some great tacos, such as fish or shrimp. The restaurant is well known for its quality. It's very popular, so if you want to sit on the outside railing, where most of the chairs are, by the way, but on the ravine side, you need to get there early, I would say at noon or just before, to grab a table here. We were fortunate enough to get a table near the ravine on the right-hand side.
This place is closed. This place is closed tomorrow, so no one wants to leave. Next time, you gotta try out for this.
So these are the enchiladas I ordered. They came with some refried beans, and I will say they were excellent. We also got some guacamole, also excellent, and they presented us with some salsa and chips. So a great place to sit back, eat, and also have a drink. So we had a few beers and just relaxed. Now, one of the things I do like about this place is that they have a variety of sitting areas, like the one just shown here, which overlooks the ravine. So if you just want to sit back and relax while others wander, this is a nice place to do that. And it's also the place where the birds are mostly out, so you can check them out when they fly in to feed at the bird feeder. So after lunch, we decided to head out down the Jaguar Trail. You can go right below the gift house, but we decided to go wander down one of the little side paths and then onto the trail from there. The total distance of the Jaguar Trail is only about 1 kilometer. As I said, it's not very difficult. There's a few hills, but the paths are very smooth and very easy to hike. Lots of young children with their families are coming here and doing this trail. And one of the highlights obviously is going down to the water side, the El Rio. And if you're down there and you have your bathing suit, lots of young families go down there and just hang out in the water to do a small swim in one of the pools before proceeding back around to the restaurant or wandering through the rest of the garden.
Buenas tardes.
There are lots of benches along the trail, so places to stop and relax if you get a little bit tired, or if you just want to sit back and take it all in. These are the stairs that lead down from the restaurant or lower level of the gift shop, and probably the easiest way to join up to the trail and the shortest distance if you just want to go check out the river and see if you want to swim there, rather than doing the entire Jaguar trail. There's a gate at the bottom of the hill, but it's never locked, so you just push it open, and from there you can see the river. Gracias. You can see here there's a pool on the right-hand side, which is a family is swimming in, and as we walk down the trail a little bit further, you're going to see several other children and adults taking advantage of the cool water. Buenas tardes. As you can see, you're walking on rocks when you're going through this part of the river, so it'd probably be a good idea, if you have them, to bring water shoes if you're going to walk through the water or even swim along the river here. At this point, you leave the river and we start walking uphill through part of the jungle. Again, the paths are very well laid out and marked, so you'll never get lost. They do have signposts that say Jaguar Trail. There are a few other trails here, but the Jaguar Trail is typically the one that we take. These trails are well maintained.
What's that?
These trails are well maintained. So it looks like we can go to the right. That's a Chakalaka Trail, but we're doing the Jaguar today. So we are going at the trail going counterclockwise around it. Typically, most people go clockwise around it. The start of the trail, when you go clockwise, is right behind the bathroom facilities. There's a large sign that says Jaguar Trail, and it's probably the easiest way to do the trail, and then you end up at the water at the very end. We decided to go counterclockwise because I just wanted to get down to the river and check it out today. As I said earlier, the trail is easy to do and very family friendly, and as you can see here, a young family or families with their children are taking the trail. So they've checked out the gardens and they're going around, and it is one of the nice things that you can do here as a family group. Hola.
Hello.
Well marked. Easy trail. Good steps here.
I like how they put in brick when they need to put in brick, and then when they don't need to, they just use the roof.
Hola.
Allah.
Is that the swimming area?
It's way down the other end.
Oh.
You're about a third to halfway across.
Ah, okay.
So that completes the Jaguar Trail. Now I'm just going to show you a few areas just outside the church. They have a cemetery here. I think a lot of people bury their pets here, but they'll have a lot of gravestones. It's just a nice area to walk through. Again, many different little gardens and little areas which you can just find by just walking off the beaten path here and checking out. It's really worth exploring when you're in the Botanical Gardens. So now let's head on back towards the restaurant and gift shop, and when we're there we'll check on the two major ponds that they have in the Botanical Gardens. This first pond has a nice little waterfalls, nice and relaxing if you want to just sit back and listen. The second pond, which is located right at the gift shop and restaurant, is quite a bit larger and is filled with fish, and this is where most people really like to check it out. These fish or koi are quite large. They have a number of different statues here. It's just something to see and enjoy. If shopping is your thing, then you'll be pleased to hear that they have quite a large gift shop here with a lot of the traditional gifts that you would see in Centro. They also offer coffee, but also a lot of unique gifts, and I believe some of them are from the local indigenous tribe here. Anyway, it's a nice thing to wander around and see if you can find something special for people that may not have been able to attend or travel with you.
Yeah, see, these are the three topics here. That's one more thing I need to do. I say maybe upstairs. But I'm working on
So to get back to Puerto Vallarta, you can proceed to the exit of the Botanical Gardens, and once you're at the exit, all you need to do is turn right, and within about 200 meters you will see the bus stop back to Puerto Vallarta. The bus is the El Tuito bus, and it costs 50 pesos, and it should arrive about every 20 to 30 minutes. The bus ride to Centro should take you about 40 minutes. And the bus will drop you off at the corner of Vicio Badillo and Aguacate. And if you don't want to take a bus, there always seems to be taxis available. They have a standard taxi rate. I believe the taxi rate from the Botanical Gardens to Centro is 650 pesos. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe.